Anybody who's jumping in, I'm not doing base reviews. I'm doing war raid reviews. So we're just looking at replays from the past clan war, and right now we're looking at the toughest Town Hall 8 bases. So I wanted to kind of pick out those bases that gave us some trouble and figure out why those bases gave us trouble. So we just looked at 30. The next one was 28. It took us 4 attacks to take 28 down. So let's go take a look at that one and see what was going on there. Okay, so actually, I'd like to look at a failed raid on this because the Candy is a Town Hall 9 and did a cleanup raid here. So this guy's Prince Gaul. So let's see if we can look at maybe, okay. So K-Dubs attack this base. Let's take a look at this. This would have been the 3rd attack on the base. So he's using hogs to take out an air defense. If I was hogging to try to take out an air defense, I would say the easiest one to get at would be this one over here. Just because you can send the hogs in and they're going to path into it. That being said, it's possible there's Teslas here. But it's more likely the Teslas are here. I would think after this base had been raided once, if you knew where the bombs were, it would be super easy to hog. Like if you knew that there weren't bombs in this center area here, if you knew there were Teslas in here, then the giant bombs are probably here, and you can easily work around that. You could send a giant in there. I mean, like, there's probably spring traps leading into these and leading into these. So if you just send your hogs, you know, straight in like this, for example, they would go through and wreck the base, go through and wreck the base. And they wouldn't hit the spring traps. So I think it's a very hoggable base. Now with dragoning, again, I think I would try to get this air defense with hogs. Probably lightning this air defense since it's so protected by storages, and send your dragons from this side since this is the most vulnerable AD for sure. So anyway, let's see how K-Dubs approaches it. Okay, so attacking from the south. Again, I don't really care for this just because that air defense is very protected by storages. You can have a couple dragons on the storages and not the air defense, and just take too long, I think. Should have created a larger funnel. Okay, so I don't mind this either. Actually, the hogs on the corner. He probably didn't need 8 hogs even to get this. I think 4 hogs could have done it. What? Why did those hogs jump into the middle? Well, that's terrible. He really got screwed over there. And I think his dragons just all got pummeled by this air defense. And that dragon was running at the skeletons. So, yeah, that's one of the perils of running ground guys with air, because that kind of thing can happen, and it can really ruin your raid. So we just saw an air bomb pop up between that Tesla, so we know that there's not a giant bomb in there. So the remaining giant bomb... The only giant bomb locations that are inside the base that make any sense would be one here, and there could be some out here, but Teslas are in these locations, so there could also be a giant bomb here. You know, this spot in the center is pretty... I feel like it's pretty unlikely. We know there's not one here, so I would just hog it from this direction, and you know, if your hogs go over this, they're gonna trip, you know, one of the bombs, but not both. Come in, same thing over here, so as long as that's pre-healed, that would be fine. So yeah, I think given this information, this would be a real easy base to hog. And I hope these reviews of these tough Town Hall 8 bases are helpful for you know, our Town Hall 8 players who you know, maybe struggled with these bases. I'm not gonna point out who it was or go and look, but that's kind of the goal of reviewing these. So the next one was 24. 24 took 5 raids. That is a lot of raids to clean up a base. So Bob ended up coming and cleaning this up, but I'd like to look at Hurrah and see you know, what happened here. So Dalton took a crack at Hurrah. I know Dalton was having connection problems, so... Oh yeah, so this base, kind of a tricky base. I think ultimately, once you know the Tesla locations, you could probably hog it. There are not really locations for double giant bombs in the center. You know, if you look, the only place in here where there could be a double giant bomb would just be here. I'm pretty sure there's Teslas there. And then all these other spots, you know, this is not enough for double giant bomb. You know, all these other ones are single locations. There's no place to fit a double in the middle. So my approach would be, you know, holo this base. There's a couple defenses you can pick off with loons, I believe. And not to say that's the only way to do it, but I believe this one's outside of air defense range. And I think this one and this one might be right on the edge. All the rest of them, though, you need to take out. But I mean, you could send in, you could send in your loons for those top ones. Should get the lure. Let's see, actually, look at this clan castle. Oh, I can't look at the radius here, but yeah, it should get the lure on the cannon over here. And if it didn't, you know, if that's not the case, you could just send like a giant down here or something. Get your kill and then send your hogs. I mean, I probably want to send the hogs from this side. Actually, that's not true. I probably want to send them from the other side, just because I'd rather them end on the side with the Barbarian King so they can kill him right away when they finish on the last defense. And yeah, I mean, the hogs would just kind of rope-a-dope around here. I'd have a couple of them hopping out here, but they'd stay in here for the most part. It would probably be smart to like sprinkle a couple hogs. So if you sent in the main hog force here, and then sent like 2 in here, a couple in here, and sprinkle those in as reinforcements. These defenses will all be focusing the ones in the core, so the couple ones that come in here, I'll just make sure they all end up in the middle, rather than kind of rotating around the outside and jumping over spring traps and stuff like that. So, anyway, let's look at Dalton's raid and see what happened with the dragon raid. Definitely a tricky base to dragon, although I will say the storages down here are outside the range of the air defenses, so he should be able to get in there with dragons. And if you get dragons in the core, you're going to do a lot of damage. So I think he's got too many dragons on the south side of this funnel. You see he has 4 dragons down here on the south, and those dragons are going to end up roping around the base. So when you're making a funnel with dragons, just need to be patient. You know, he's got too many dragons on the sides. Those dragons are not going to go into the middle of the base. They're going to go around the sides, and that's a big problem. Yeah, so what he needs here is he needs to have all of his dragons deployed right here. You should have like 1 to 2 dragons max over here. 1 to 2 dragons max over here. And he's actually got 4 here and 4 here, and then he only has, you know, this dragon that's going this way. I think this one was kind of in the middle, but it's going that way. So you're going to see these dragons just path around the sides, and that's why he's going to lose, because he didn't have a firm enough funnel established. And to be fair, this kind of is a bit of a ring base. So you know, the dragons just aren't going in and killing the air defenses, and that's what you need. Also, he should have dropped the balloons sooner. I'm not sure if that would have mattered or not.
Our time together has come to an end. It's not me.
Skeleton traps on air don't make any sense to me, but people do it, so. And yeah, with the air defenses being spread out, the balloons were only able to take out 1. And you can see here, his dragons really got wrecked by those air defenses. If you're going to have your dragons engaging in air defense, they need to be able to move on it right away, or they need to be under rage. It's just not going to work. So yeah, so those Teslas popped up. So there's no, you know, there's nowhere in the core for there to be a double giant bomb. So this is a very hoggable base. And I would just, you know, use balloons to pick off some of those top defenses, get an easy clan castle lure, and yeah, just hog it if you're a town hall.